What's going on, guys? It's Kyle. Today we're going to be looking at some scary stories from the Appalachian Mountains. If you can't tell from the accent, I live in the Appalachian Mountains, and I've always heard of these scary stories coming from the Appalachian Mountains. Some of them you've definitely heard of, such as like cryptids like Wendigo, the Bell Witch, Mothman. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be reading some stories off Reddit that I found of true stories of the Appalachian Mountains, and then I'm going to read some other published works about the Appalachian Mountain cryptids, such as like the Bell Witch or Mothman. With all that being said, let's get right into it. But before we get right into it, if you can notice a little bit of a change of scenery here. Got my hoodie laying on the bed there, but I upgraded. I got a microphone now, a real one. I got a better camera. I got a computer now for better editing, and my setup is a little bit different looking. Let me know if you guys like it. I'm going to do some more decorating on the walls. If there's anything you guys think would look cool on the walls, let me know. I did think about a few different blankets to add, but I added all the foam and stuff. But I'll quit yapping and I'll get into some of the stories. On the banks of the Red River in Robertson County lies the sleepy town of Adams, Tennessee, with its population of 624. You might think that the area often gets overlooked. However, for many decades, the town has captured the attention of ghost hunters, historians, and paranormal enthusiasts from all over the world. Why? Because it is the site of the infamous haunting of the Bell Witch. From 1817 to 1821, a man named John Bell and his family were harassed by a mysterious and invisible spirit now known as the Bell Witch. According to the legend, the witch had the ability to speak, shapeshift, and be in multiple places at once. At the time, the Tennessee frontier was a wilderness with dense forests as far as the eye could see. Neighboring family homes were usually miles apart from one another. The strange occurrences began at the Bell Witch family's farm when John Bell came across a dog-like creature. He fired his gun at the animal, but it quickly vanished. Soon after the incident, strange disturbances inside the family's home began with loud knocking noises, gnawing sounds, and the sound of chains dragging across the floors. Eventually, the witch's activities became physical. It began striking, pinching, and pulling the hair of some of the family members. However, it was John Bell and his daughter Betsy who received most of the abuse. The witch then began speaking and having full conversations with members of the family as well. Oftentimes, it directed insults and threats at John Bell. When asked about who or what the witch was, it responded, "I am a spirit. I once was very happy, but I have been disturbed and made unhappy." Even the family's enslaved workers reported strange happenings. An enslaved man named Dean said that he encountered the witch several times. He said that the witch usually took the form of a dog-like creature that sometimes had two heads. Dean admitted that soon after these encounters, he began carrying around a witch ball made by his wife to protect him from harm. Some of the family's neighbors and friends experienced unusual encounters with the witch as well. One incident involved a family friend named William Porter in which he supposedly grabbed a hold of the witch and attempted to throw the invisible entity into the fire. He was unsuccessful, as the massive weight and terrible odor of the witch were too much for him to bear. After 3 years of non-stop attacks and harassment, John Bell's physical health started to decline. He became bedridden and eventually passed away in December of 1820. His family believed that the Bell Witch had caused his death by giving him a kind of poison. It was even said that the witch had crashed his funeral and sang cheerful drinking songs during the ceremony. After his death, the constant hauntings and abuse lessened, then eventually stopped altogether, just as mysteriously as they began. Since that time, the legend of the Bell Witch has lived on by influencing popular culture through books, movies, television, and theater. While many view the story of the Bell Witch as local folktale, there are others who believe that the hauntings did in fact take place and that there is still supernatural activity connected to the land. To this day, thousands of people flock to the Adams every year to visit the original site of the Bell Witch, in hopes to experience something paranormal for themselves. So the Bell Witch obviously went on to inspire a lot of mainstream media, such as the Bell Witch Project is a huge one. I love that movie. Then you have the Bell Witch movie. I think it's called An American Haunting. Let me look that up. I did Google it. It is The American Haunting. Due to the story being so old of the Bell Witch, it's kind of hard to decipher whether it would be real or not. It definitely inspired tons of media, as I mentioned before, but the true story of it comes out as sort of Amityville to me. If you know anything about Amityville, then you know what I'm kind of talking about, how it seems like it was kind of just hearsay in my eyes, but I mean, I could be completely wrong. But let me know down in the comments what you think of the Bell Witch story. I like it just because I like the media attached to it. I don't know for sure if I would believe the story, but other than that, I mean, it's just a great story. So, in preparation for this video, I went on Reddit and asked if anybody had any real, true encounters from the Appalachian Mountains. One Reddit user commented a story that he had, and he said I didn't need to tag him, so I won't tag him in this, but I'll go ahead and read his story now. Real story here from southern Appalachia. Not the craziest horror type story, but it still scared the hell out of me in August of 2022. I solo overnight camped in the Sumter National Forest up in the far northwest corner of South Carolina. My third and last time ever solo camping out in the middle of the mountains/woods. I feel like I'm a pretty seasoned outdoorsman, and I wasn't that far out to where this would be irresponsible. Anyway, I parked my car on the old logging road and hiked in about 1.5 to 2 miles to the top of a ridge that was near an area that had just been cut by loggers probably in the spring of that year. I was about 5 miles from the nearest sign of civilization. I was testing out some new camp gear and just getting some solitude. It was pretty and peaceful and kind of hot and humid. I found a spot to set up camp right on the edge of the tree line bordering a grassy area on top of the ridge. The afternoon and evening went by without any issue. I had a cramped 1.5 man sized tent and left off the rainfly, because it was hot, so it was mostly just netting. That sort of let me see out the tent, but not well. I went to sleep and woke up from a nightmare at 4:36 a.m. The nightmare was me, in my tent, exactly where I was in the exact position I was laying. In the dream, I woke up and looked to my left and saw a large, dark figure with red eyes staring right at me from the outside of the tent. I woke up in a real cold sweat and thought, what the F, that was real effed up. And maybe a minute after that, I heard a blood-curdling scream that had to be right in the vicinity of my little camp area. I was absolutely frozen in fear. It kind of sounded like a combination of an owl scream and a fox scream, if you can try to imagine. About another 30 seconds go by that feel like an eternity. Still frozen in fear, and then something big like full sprint stomped through my campsite. It was 100% bipedal and heavy because I could feel the vibration on the ground. I had a pistol and an AR-15 style rifle with me in the tent, both with weapon lights. I somehow mustered up the courage and grabbed my rifle, unzipped the tent, and switched the light on to quickly scan the area with it. Pure adrenaline. I saw nothing, no sign of anything. At this time, there were zero sounds of bugs, critters, and if you know the South, the woods can be loud AF at night. That also scared the living S out of me. That part didn't even hit me until later on when I was recounting everything, which made me more scared. Anyway, I stayed awake scanning the woods pretty much non-stop until the first light, and quickly packed up and GTFO'd to the car. What's weird is I have been to this area many times with my brother and friends doing little campouts, shooting, and land nav type stuff for fun and never had anything weird happen. Not even a weird or off feeling. Always felt safe and comfortable until that night. Since then, I've gone near that exact area again, but no closer than a mile or two, and always had dudes with me for overnight camps. Nothing strange or scary has happened since. I don't know what it was. Some people I've told said it was maybe the Dogman or Bigfoot. I truly don't know, and I don't want to. Once again, I'm not going to say his name because he asked me not to in the Reddit thread, but big appreciation to him if you're watching this video. It was a good story. I really like this story. It's very terrifying. I hope I never experience anything like that. But these are just some of the many stories people have in the Appalachian Mountains that I find so fascinating because me myself, I've never experienced that living here my whole life, and I've been in the woods multiple times. Like I'm always in the woods, hunting, hiking, and I've never experienced something to this level, and I'm really happy I didn't. But big thanks to him for sharing this with me, and let's get on to another story. This next story comes from Choosing Happiness Now on Reddit, posted 3 years ago. When my mother was just a girl, in the 1940s, she was spending the night at her aunt and uncle's house in southern West Virginia. The house was in a holler, and her grandparents' house was at the head of the holler. A big field separating the two, with a big sycamore tree right in the middle of the field. Her aunt sent me to the grandmother's house to get either a cup of sugar or flour. She said she didn't hurry back and just played until almost dark. She started back down the path to the other house, which went by the sycamore tree. She said she got right under the tree when something in the tree let out a yell that sounded like a woman screaming. She threw the cup away, ran toward the house, and met her uncle coming out with his rifle to shoot what was most likely a mountain lion. He didn't find the mountain lion, and they never found the cup she threw away. This one was just like a more relatable one. I've had stuff like this happen, nothing to the degree of me waking up and there being a demon outside my tent, but I definitely have went out in the woods and heard scary noises. Like definitely while hunting, I've heard many growls or yelps from coyotes. It's pretty unnerving hearing some of the animals out in the Appalachian Mountains, especially if you can't see them. But I thought I would share this one as more of a relatable story that maybe some of you guys have ever felt if you live in the Appalachians or if you live in any kind of mountain range. This next post was posted about a year ago on subreddit r/Appalachia by user Strong Excitement. Didn't happen to me, but happened to my mom in the late 60s. My mother grew up in New Hampshire but was born in Virginia. One year when she was about 4, she was getting dressed in her snow clothes to go outside. She had a younger brother at this point and he was 3. My grandmother, her mom, would dress her and then go and dress her brother, and by the time she got back, my mom would have taken off all her snow clothes. So to fix this, she dressed my mom and stuck her outside with the dog right after. My mom just wandered off into the forest. They lived pretty much in the middle of nowhere at this point. The dog went with her, and then she was missing for 2 days. The dog returned home. They thought she was dead. And then they found her, a couple miles away, sitting at the bottom of a hill, covered in dirt and just playing in the snow. She doesn't remember what happened, but I guess she was just missing and then found. Even though there were tons of search efforts and the 2 days she was missing, and like dogs and everything. And she was also missing in a lot of her snow clothes, which were never found. Always gives me chills whenever she or my grandmother talk about it. I really like this one. That's why I wanted to read it. It kind of reminds me of The Stairs in the Woods, one of those little short stories from it where it's talking about a little boy that was found in the middle of the pond. I really like this story. This is scary. This seems like something that could definitely happen, especially when you think of, I don't know his name right off the top of my head or the case, but it's the true story of the little boy who went missing and was found like so many miles away, and he couldn't really tell you what happened. Something about that is just so eerie to me and scares the crap out of me because it's the true horrors of like why can't that kid remember what happened, or why is that kid not telling us what happened? It's just really odd. Before we get into our last story, I wanted to briefly touch on something that I've been investigating myself for a little while. I was talking about abandoned places to one of my coworkers because I really have a fascination with like old school buildings or old hospitals. And I was talking to him about it, and he's a little bit older than me. He brought up that there is an old carnival that is sitting on top of a mountain somewhere on US 23 from Jenkins to Norton, Virginia. I live in this general area, not that general area, but like not far from it. And whenever he said an abandoned carnival from the 60s and 70s, that just blew my mind. So I went on to Reddit and I asked if anyone knew of this old carnival. I asked around, but no one could seem to tell me what I was talking about. Like I mentioned it, it was off 23, it's an old carnival, and it's run down at this point. But eventually, thankfully for Reddit, I was able to get my answer, and it was called Rimrock Railroad in Norton, Virginia. I tried to see if I could go visit it, but they got it gated off, and I have some friends that actually live in Norton and a little bit farther down the road in Big Stone Cap, and they said it's gated off and you can't get there. But if anyone watching this video has any idea on how to get to Rimrock Railroad and it not be illegal, I would love to go up there and explore. I don't want to hurt anything, I definitely don't want to disturb anything. I just want to go up there and see it and get some footage on my GoPro. There is some drone footage of Rimrock Railroad and the remnants of it. There's nothing really left besides a couple buildings and then the big pond and the porch around the pond. And I'll play some of that here so you guys can see it. It's really cool. If anyone knows of a way for like a person to get up there and like investigate it and look at it without getting in trouble, please comment on this video if you know of a way. But I'll quit yapping about Rimrock Railroad. I just thought it was super cool that there's an abandoned carnival on top of a mountain somewhere that has been abandoned since the 60s. That's awesome. Final story we'll be talking about today that involves the Appalachian Mountains will be Mothman. Mothman is a cryptid. If you know anything about cryptids or creepypastas, they're kind of in the same vein for me. But if you know anything about cryptids, then you definitely heard of Mothman. I think Mothman is pretty cool. I almost covered the Wendigo, but there's an entire channel dedicated to that. But anyway, I'm going to get into the story of the Mothman, written by Shayla Klein. The Legend of the Mothman, Paranormal, West Virginia. Point Pleasant, West Virginia. The year was 1966. Two gravediggers in Klein, West Virginia saw a black figure fly over their heads while digging a grave in a cemetery. They didn't know it then, but they are credited with being the first people to see the famous Mothman. Legend has it that Mothman lives in the TNT area near Point Pleasant. According to legend, Mothman is a black, 10-foot creature with wings and red eyes. Shortly after the cemetery incident, residents of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, a few miles west of Klein, claim they saw the monster while driving at night. Articles in the newspapers at the time were reporting that the monster was also commonly seen in the TNT area near town, with some locals speculating that perhaps people were really seeing cranes or owls, and others wondering if the creature was credited in some sort of mutation accident involving the chemicals associated with storing TNT. Regardless, legend has it that the mysterious men in black suits began visiting the town shortly after the sighting reports. The most infamous sighting of the Mothman was on December 15, 1967. Locals said they saw Mothman on top or flying over the Silver Bridge, which was the suspension bridge over the Ohio River that connected Point Pleasant, West Virginia to Ohio. According to Mothman lore, shortly after the creature was spotted on the bridge collapsed, resulting in the deaths of 46 people. An investigation into the disaster found that a fracture in the suspension chain was the cause. Mothman has been allegedly sighted at other disastrous events since the bridge collapse, with people claiming to have seen the creature before earthquakes, tsunamis, and even the 9/11 terrorist attack. This leaves locals and storytellers split on whether Mothman should be considered an evil or a benevolent creature. Some say the creature is either bad luck or causing these disasters in some way, but others speculate Mothman may be able to see into the future, and that the monster appears to warn people of impending doom. Now, because of this, and because of the sightings, Point Pleasant now has made a name for themselves in West Virginia as being the origin of the Mothman. They have shirts, they have certain food items named after it, and they even have a Mothman-themed festival every year. What do you think of the Mothman? Do you think he was a real entity, or do you think it was just two gravediggers seeing something from being tired of digging a grave, or maybe it was a ghost? I'm not too sure, I wasn't there. But let me know what you guys think in the comments about the Mothman. Also, let me know if you think I should do more videos inspired by this video. I enjoyed doing it. I like my new microphone. But let me know what you guys think of the new setup. Let me know if you guys like it. I really appreciate you clicking on this video. I'm sorry it's been a while since I've posted. I've just been really busy setting all this up. And I believe that's going to be about it for today's video. Let me know in the comments if you want me to cover more cryptids. I'd love to. I think they're very fascinating. Or if there's any creepy stories that you guys have read or haven't read that you would like me to read. Or if there's any movies you guys would like me to cover, just let me know. I'm all in on it. But videos will be coming out again more frequently. I know I took about a 3-week break there, but it was a lot setting this up and getting used to the computer. I've never had one, so it's just weird setting it up. And once again, big thanks for 100 subscribers. That's awesome. I'd like to keep pushing on and keep moving that number up. You got the support you guys give me on the videos is great. I really appreciate it, and it made me want to go out and get better gear to make a little bit better content for you guys. But I believe that's going to be about it for today's video. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments, and like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll keep making the content y'all love. Have a good one.